doing now? We're just gonna make stuff up. We're just gonna be off the cuff. It's just gonna be wild. And this is crazy because y'all are Cowboys fans, from what I understand. And what's even wilder is y'all gave it like the hard pause. Like y'all gave it like the, oh man, he about to say something profound. Like he's gonna drop the mic. He's gonna give us the knowledge of the Cowboys' first round draft selection history.
Send this to a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Is it true? Is it true? Is it true that the Cowboys have the best fans? Yes, sir.
I trip out on that. Because I'm swimming in it. I wear this jersey every first game. It's my favorite jersey.
Came from El Paso.
Go Cowboys!
What's up, Cowboy fans? What is up? It is Cowboy Up Podcast. It is Tuesday. Y'all see me and Rue repping these Mavs, man. We got the TV on in the background, but hey, we got a responsibility to you first. And we're going to talk about these damn Cowboys. And man, thank you, man. Our special guest, Mr. Cowboy Corner. Mike, what is up, baby? How you doing?
Dude, anytime I get a text from Big Fella that says, do you want to come do the show tonight? Hell yes, I'm there.
That's what I'm talking about, man. When you got some loyal people, man, that love to talk, man, this sport that we love, the Dallas Cowboys, man, that's really awesome, man. My man, hey, from the capital city. There he is, man, from South Texas. His name is Allow Me to Butt In Sports. Will we call him Rue? What's up, baby?
Shit, man. I'm missing Derek Lively right now, man. Bring Derek Lively back. Bring Derek Lively back, damn it. Fucking down nine and shit. It's killing me right now, but it's all right.
Hey, it's a long game, bro. Long game. We're gonna focus here. You know, I'm trying to focus on this camera instead of the TV right there. But you know, hey, y'all know we all Dallas everything. So you know, except for college. You know, he Texas, I'm Michigan, and I don't know what the hell Mike is. I think he's a Red Raider. I think he's a Red Raider. I think.
Bang bang.
Yeah, he's a bang banger.
Your team has broken my heart more times than I can count, but at the end of the day, we still get the better of you most of the time, so I can live with it.
Yeah, y'all do got a little rivalry, don't you? Them Red Raiders and them Longhorns, man. What y'all gonna do now since y'all don't play each other now? Y'all ain't play each other.
I see you in 100 years. I don't know what else to tell you, because we are never going back to Lubbock ever again. There's no chance we are going to Lubbock.
How you feel about that, Mike? You know, I know we gonna get off subject real quick, but we got the long show. How you feel about the Big 12 breaking up like that, man?
It was bound to happen eventually, so you know, and it did, and we got to move on, take our sucker punches, and keep it on.
Okay,
we'll be all right.
Sucker punches, yeah. You know, I had a best friend. He passed away. He played for Tech, man, and I was just like, he was getting recruited by Notre Dame and USC, and he chose Tech, and I was like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Lubbock ain't a bad town. A lot of people shit on Lubbock, but Lubbock's pretty nice.
Yeah,
Lubbock's pretty wild too. Like Lubbock, that's a crazy ass school. Like there's a reason he picked that place to go. I promise you, it wasn't by accident. That place was crazy. I was there our last time we were ever gonna play in Lubbock as a Big 12 opponent or whatever against you guys. It was the last time we were ever gonna be in Lubbock. We made that trip. That game crushed my soul, bro. That game crushed my entire soul. I was so mad. And I was in the end zone where Bijan fumbled, like running in. I'm just like, are you serious? They fumbled all year. Like, what is going on?
It's always bound to happen.
Hey, man, Tech is their Achilles heel. You know that, man. Tech get fired up. Them damn tortillas get to flying.
I got hit with a tortilla a couple times. I'm telling you right now, I was like, how y'all heat these bitches up? Like, what the fuck did y'all bring with you, bro? How'd you toast mine? Like, what the fuck? Did you bring these here like this? What happened?
Hey, man, I went to this is how long ago. I went to when Tech made it to the Cotton Bowl, right? And I went to the game, and they had all these damn tortillas. I'm like, why y'all got damn tortillas, right? And then they taught me how to chunk them. You got to punch a hole in the center of it. they say they take flight better.
Aerodynamics.
Aerodynamics.
They stole them things some distance too. Like some of them coming from the top. Because before the game started, we snuck down. We were trying to see them play or whatever up close. So we got all the way down to the front row trying to see the warm up on the Texas sideline. Bro, before you know it, I'm going from taking pictures to a fucking tortillas flying over my head. I'm like, what the shit is going on? But no, and what really upsets me is that people are offended by this shit and are mad that they're doing it and they're trying to get rid of it. And I'm just like, that is actually kind of a funny ass tradition, and it's not hurting anybody. They're fucking tortillas.
Yeah, it's a cool tradition.
There's a Karen at every corner. There's a Karen at every corner.
I'm telling you, they're tortillas. Get over it.
Exactly. Well, let's get into these damn Cowboys, man. What y'all say?
Let's do it.
We got a few things to talk about. Now, this is my first subject, and I saw this on TikTok first, okay, about Mike McCarthy not being a top 10 head coach in the league. And I sat and I was really thinking, I was like, does that bother me? And I was like, in a way it does. And the reason why it bothers me is because of Mike McCarthy's history with the Packers and with the Cowboys, okay? Former Super Bowl winning head coach, which carries a lot of clout in the NFL if you won the Super Bowl or not. And then, wins during the regular season. But I guess the past performances in the playoffs, he's not getting any credit. Now, personally, I felt Mike McCarthy should have been let go last year just because of that one playoff game, because I thought he didn't have his team prepared. So my question to you, Mike, first, does this bother you that Mike McCarthy is not a top 10 quarterback, didn't make the list?
The top 10 head coach?
Head coach.
I wouldn't say that it bothers me, when he won the Super Bowl in North Texas in 2010. And then after that, his playoff record really isn't something to brag about. I mean, you look at what he's done with the Cowboys as the head coach. He's lacking motivational skills, smashing watermelons, putting monkey butt in the locker room for chapped ass. That wouldn't motivate me. I would actually be laughing at him in the locker room like, this coach is stupid, right? And so, if he knew how to motivate men and he didn't lose as badly as they did the last 3 years and with Aaron Rodgers and some of those teams in the playoffs, I think he would get his flowers on being top 10, right? But realistically talking, with the skins that he does have on the wall, he's definitely a top 10 coach. He's definitely a top. You have to put him there just for a Super Bowl coach, just for the playoffs, what he was able to do with Dallas. We haven't had back-to-back winning seasons since 91, 92, 93. So you have to take that in consideration.
Okay. Rue, what you think, man? Did it bother you? Or does it bother you that they say he's not a top 10 head coach in the league?
I think this clearly shows a media bias against the Cowboys. There's no doubt in my mind that if you're going to rank I'd like to know who the top 10 were. And do you know where he ranked on that list? Was
I had it. It was like 18.
18.
They had him 18.
3 12-5 seasons, and he's 18. I bet there's 17 teams. Well, you know what? I take that back. I bet there's at least 14 teams in front of him that would appreciate what he's done in the regular season. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and say I think that Mike McCarthy is the greatest coach ever, because I definitely have my qualms about Mike McCarthy. I had my qualms about Mike McCarthy coming in because I knew he wasn't a running coach. I knew he was going to change a lot when it came to this offense, and I knew we're going to have to rely a hell of a lot more on Dak Prescott for him to be successful as a coach, just based on what he'd done in the past with Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. I mean, it's still one of those situations where it's like, man, is he top 10 right now? Yeah, he should be. He deserves to be. He's won 36 games in the last 3 years. That's not easy to do. People scoff at it like it's nothing, but it's not nothing. And when we're really looking at what Mike McCarthy is, man, Mark McCarthy came into a system where in his first year, in his first couple years, he didn't get to pick his staff. He had to work with what he had. He still managed to win 10, 12 games out of it. And in the next season, he's working with different people. He's in his first year calling the offense. He led this team to a top 5 offense in the NFL in terms of yardage and everything else, and it was the top scoring offense in the entire NFL. So to say that he is not a top 10 coach, considering what this team's past is before him, I don't think that's true. He's definitely top 10.
Let me pull up this list, man. Give me 1 second, because I got the list. I found it. And let's see.
18. That's disrespectful. Yeah. That's crazy to me. 18.
Yeah, so
I think you're muted, Mike.
Can y'all see it? Hold on, let me see.
Is it active coaches or all time?
Yeah, this is active. Give me a second.
I'm about to say it's just active.
Give me a second. All right. Okay. So of course they got, I don't know why it's not sharing now. It's not scrolling on the screen. Well, let me just read it to you, okay? And I'll just take this off because it's not scrolling. So they got, of course, Andy Reid, 1. They got Sean McVay of the Rams, 2. They got Kyle Shanahan of the Niners, 3. They got John Harbaugh of the Ravens, 4. They got Mike Tomlin, 5. They got Jim Harbaugh for the Chargers, 6, my coach. They got LaFleur from the Packers. They got Sean Payton from the Broncos. Dan Campbell from the Lions at 9. At 10, they got Mike McDaniels from the Dolphins. At 11, they got Kevin Stefanski from the Browns. 12, they got Zach Taylor for the Bengals. They got 13, D'Amico Ryans for the Texans.
He should
14,
be higher.
Yeah, he should be high. I think he is a top 10 quarterback. 14, they got Sean McDermott for the Buffalo Bills. 15, they got Doug Peterson of the Jaguars. 16, they got Nick Sirianni for the Eagles. 17, they got Kevin O'Connor for the Vikings. And at 18, they got Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy's top 7. I would put D'Amico Ryans ahead of Mike McCarthy. So after Tomlin, it's D'Amico Ryans, and then after D'Amico McCarthy, it's Mike McCarthy and everybody else after that.
Yeah, and when I saw the list, I was just like, oh, okay. I understood a few people, but when they put, Jim ain't coached in the league in the last 7 years. He been at Michigan 7 years. So then he was at Stanford, wasn't he? Yeah, so he was at Stanford, so he hadn't coached in the NFL in 10 years, right? They already got him ahead of Mike McCarthy. I still don't understand. I think they give Tomlin love just because he's been a Steeler head coach for so long.
But he hasn't had a losing season.
Yeah, but to me, he hadn't done much either. I still don't know why Sean Payton for the Broncos is better. Dan Campbell loses his team chance to go to the Super Bowl with dumb decision making. Mike McDaniel, to me, for the Dolphins, he's a good coach. I don't think he's earned his stripes yet. I don't.
Folded at the end of the year. They gave up the division. And they lost in the wild card. Like, come on here.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit. So, you talk about folding. Damn.
Yeah. It was just shocking to me, because I would have just automatically assumed he would be a top 10 head coach in the league. I just assumed it. But when I saw it on TikTok the first time, I was like, where's Mike McCarthy? And then I went to the list and I looked, I was like, 18 out of 32 coaches?
I can't see that.
32?
A lot of those coaches for the last 3 years don't have 36 wins.
That's true.
I know that much for damn sure. A lot of guys on that list don't have 36 wins for the last 3 seasons.
So,
wow.
Hey, that's 18. One that caught my eye. I wanted to bring it to y'all attention just to see was I crazy or not, because as much as I was so disappointed in him at the end of the season last year, I do consider him a top 10 quarterback, head coach. I do. I think he's at 9 or 10, but 18 is way too low. I think I think that's a bias right there. I really do. So, hey, this is my next subject, man. All right, now y'all know Quinn is gone. He's gone to the Commanders. Mike Zimmer's here. He former defensive coordinator before. Will the defense be better? Because Mike Zimmer runs that two gap system, where he'll show the linebackers in the A and B gap, and he'll come out of it and everything like that. With me talking on the Can Fan the other day, we were talking about one techniques and three techniques in that system. It may free up Mozzie and him a little bit on one-on-ones, but to me, I don't know. So my question is the roof first. How do you think Mike Zimmer will be different than Dan Quinn this season?
I think Mike Zimmer's kind of proven in his pedigree. I mean, he turned the Vikings around from one of the worst defenses in the league to one of the better defenses in the league in just in a short amount of time. And with the amount of talent that's on this defense, he should have a very good time at being able to do what he's been able to do. And the biggest difference between him and Dan Quinn that I really see is that Dan Quinn really relied on the turnover. Dan Quinn let up a lot of yards in games. There were games where guys were still getting yards, but we get the turnover and we turn the game in our favor. Were there games where Dan Quinn led this defense, had this defense stifling people out, shutting people out? Yes. But the majority of those wins, a lot of the wins that came from this team came off of times where, you'd see teams get all the way to the red zone against us, and we get the turnover, and we're able to turn it around and get what we needed out of the drive and stall out the drive. Whereas which is essentially it's a punt if you're really just getting it on your own side of the field. But with Zimmer, I really feel like it's going to be a real swing in terms of the kind of scheme and the kind of way he's going to motivate these players in order to get where they need to be. And I think it'll be a more stifling defense. Might not be as flashy, might not be as, might not be as much turnover wise, but I think you'll see a lot more 3 and outs. And I think you'll see a lot more drive stall out towards the 50 instead of relying on that turnover in the red zone.
Okay. Cowboy Corner, what you think, man? Will the defense be different? Will it be better? Will it be worse? How do you feel about Zimmer at defense right now, brother?
Yeah, Savage made a good point, and that's what I was thinking. Our defense will be worse this year. Look at our defensive tackle room, right? Our run defense will be worse. Look at our defensive tackle room, right? So Dan Quinn, as Bruce said, did takeaways. That was the pedigree to Dan Quinn's defense, was take the ball away.
Right.
And can Mike Zimmer keep that momentum of takeaways with this group? I think he can. Why? Because most of our turnovers came from what? The cornerback position.
Oh, yeah.
So Al Harris is still part of this defense.
Right.
So I think the interceptions will still take place because of the Al Harris mentality. If this defense can stop the run, yes, it will be better than Dan Quinn.
Okay.
If it can't, and we get the takeaways, it's going to be exactly the same.
Let's talk about that, Mike. Let's talk about the defense. Will we be able to stop the run? Because we got brand new linebackers, and we had some change on the defensive line. Will we be able to stop the run? Will we? Because I'm concerned about that.
With this new defense, you're going to see them, instead of doing all these stunts and double stunts and all that, you're actually going to see gap assignments.
Okay.
The B block, the C block, the A gap, all that's going to be, there's going to be a job to do. As you know, Mozzie Smith excelled at that gap position at Michigan. Yes. So that's why there's a lot of talk that Mike Zimmer can really help Mozzie Smith, because he don't have to go get the quarterback. All he has to do is hold his guard, right? And see where the hell the ball runner is at, right? That's all he has to do. So when you gap control with your D-line, your linebackers Congratulations to Overshown for gaining weight. I think that's just part of not being able to walk. I think he just ate a lot of Debbie cakes, right? So,
Hey,
muscle,
they're
man.
saying he
It was
looks
all
jacked.
muscle. It was all
They're
muscle.
saying he looks jacked. Let's not
muscle.
pick up DeMarvin Overshown.
I believe it when I see it. All right,
He
because
looks jacked.
This
I'll
guy
picture
Rue-
of him.
Don't try to rule
The
out
man
size
looks
too early.
jacked. The man looks
So,
jacked. You better stop.
Overshown, gaining weight. Kendricks. Then you got Clark, Damone Clark. They're gonna be able to play at their strengths because if the D line is controlling their gap assignment, the linebacker. I mean, I don't know if y'all remember when Sean Lee, dude, used to just run and hit a guard and then go get the tackle, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be able to see our linebackers do that, and I can't wait to get back to that formula defense.
Yeah, if that, and just off subject, if that man would have stayed healthy, he would have been in the Hall of Fame. He would have been a Hall of Famer. I love Sean Lee. I love him. I love my little brother so much. I got his bobblehead. This one rule you can't have. That's my little brother.
I believe it.
I loved him. I loved him, man. So, hey, hoping this is what I'm hoping, man. With Zimmer, man, it to me is more nostalgia than anything because he was here in the heydays and everything, and he had that Jimmy Johnson mentality on playing defense. Okay, attack. I think he kind of got away from it when he was the Minnesota head coach. I think, when you're a head coach, you kind of coach differently. But when you're just a coordinator, it's different. You know what I mean? And right. I really think he's going to be in attack mode, and I really hope so. And I really, man, just for nostalgia's sake, man, I really want to believe that he's going to get Mozzie on track. But the one thing that I heard that I didn't like about Mozzie, Mozzie still weighs the same that he did last year. He didn't gain any weight. And that bothered me. That bothered me because I thought he would come in bigger. Because we saw a lot last year that Mozzie was on skates a lot. And if y'all don't know what that term is, that's when a offensive lineman drag your ass right down the field with ease, like you're on skates. We don't need to see our number one pick on skates anymore. And I was really hoping he was going to gain a little weight.
I don't think the weight of Mozzie Smith right now is an issue.
Okay.
Because, if Mozzie Smith didn't gain weight or lose weight, I want to see what he's able to do in training camp with Zach Martin, with Tyler Smith, right? Because if he's able to really control his gap with his strength, right, with his legs, with his technique, I don't think I need Mozzie to weigh 330.
Okay.
I don't think I need him to weigh 330.
Okay. Well, I guess we're going to have to wait and see about that. We're going to have to wait and see. Now, this is a topic, man, and this topic is about our wide receiver room. We know CeeDee Lamb is holding out, and I got a feeling this is going to be a long holdout. This may be the week before the season starts, maybe even week one. I hope the Cowboys don't do that. I think they're playing roulette with him and Justin Jefferson to see who's going to be the highest paid. And as we know, CeeDee already said on Michael Parsons' podcast the week after the season, he wants to be the highest paid receiver in the NFL. His stats last year proved he should be, but is he going to be? So, how is the wide receiver room going to look without CeeDee on the field? Go ahead, Rue.
Very young. Very young. I mean, it's Brandon Cooks, Jalen Tolbert, and then we got a bunch of guys. I mean, Kevontae Turpin, and then you got a laundry list of guys that are very unproven. We don't know what we're going to get out of, and this team is very reliant on CeeDee Lamb being here this year and being healthy this year. There's a lot on CeeDee Lamb in terms of pressure because there's not a lot around him right now. I mean, there just isn't. I mean, by all accounts, this better be the year that we see Jalen Tolbert actually become somebody we even talk about, because the
Okay.
fact is he hasn't been anything for us in the last 2 years. His rookie season was basically a bust. His second season was, it had its moments. Is the best thing I can possibly say about it. It had its moments. But if he's going to be the true 3, and really he should be jumping for the true 2.
2. Yeah.
Because Cooks is not like Cooks is what 35, 36. How old is Cooks? Honored.
I think he's 31 or 32.
He's on the wrong side of 30 at that position, and he's a guy that relies on his speed. And I didn't see much of it last year.
Oh, he's 30.
He's only 30. Okay, I thought he was like 32, 33.
Been in the league for like 100 years, I feel like, but maybe it's because all the teams he's been on. I don't know.
I think can I butt in real quick, Rue?
Yeah,
I think Cooks was more matchup to me. If he had a good matchup, he was great. Because it was some games, man, that you were like, damn, Brandon is showing out. But I thought it was more or less matchup. He got matched up on a safety or on a nickel corner. But it was always the team we played, whether if he was determined if he was going to have a good game or not. Do you agree? You disagree? Or you just not happy with his separation?
The fact is, man, he only had like a hair over 700 yards, and like 220 of them came against the Giants. So I take it all with a grain of salt with Brandon Cooks, but I don't expect much out of Brandon Cooks. I would rather see more coming out of these younger players that we have coming into the team that really need to step up and get into the spot. I mean, Jalen Tolbert was a second-round pick or third
round.
He's a third-round pick, which is still a guy. I mean, after 3 seasons, like, hey man, it's time to kind of nut up at this point. Otherwise, you ain't gonna be here much longer. It ain't it's not for long for a reason. True. But outside of CeeDee, man, we have a good tight end room. I feel good about that room. I do feel good about Ferguson. I haven't gave up hope on Hendershot, and Schoonamaker was only a rookie last year. So Schoonamaker coming into year 2 should be an improvement as well. I don't hate the tight end room. I think the tight end room is going to be better this year than it was last year. And I really, really, really like Jake Ferguson. I think Jake Ferguson came up in big moments a good amount of the time, and I think he should just get better. Just with having more years tacked on as a pro, I think he'll get better. But with this wide receiver room, maybe we got a steal in the 6th round or 5th round that we took that receiver in. Maybe we got a steal. Yeah, maybe we got a steal.
We'll see.
Maybe it's something that we found a diamond in the rough there. But at the end of the day, they have to pay this man. He has to be on this roster, and if we don't have him, we're in serious trouble.
Hey, Mike, what you think about this room without CeeDee right now?
It's scary. It's very scary. We're an end away from having more excuses for Dak Prescott, and that's what CeeDee. And I really feel like we have the pieces. All right. I'm not going to talk about Jalen Tolbert. That's another wasted roster spot. All right.
Ooh, okay.
There's articles coming out. Ian Rappaport tweeted about, Tolbert's working with Cooks. Tolbert's been working with Dak. We seen and heard this song and dance last year. I don't know if y'all seen the hype on Twitter. If you guys pay attention, Jalen Tolbert was literally running with his shirt off, and people were like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna have 100 yards." He had 200 yards.
Right.
There's no reason why Jalen Tolbert should be on this. He's a bust. Swallow your pride. Will McClain, get rid of him. Here's who I'm most excited about outside of CeeDee Lamb.
Okay.
Jalen Brooks. The flashes and the consistency that he showed in preseason, that he showed in regular season opportunity. Now, the difference between him and, Simi Fehoko, Simi Fehoko flashed in training camp. Simi Fehoko flashed in preseason, but when the lights turned on, the bigger lights, he folded. Jalen Brooks, I think Dak Prescott has a better chemistry with Jalen Brooks than Jalen Tolbert, and Dak Prescott recruited Jalen Tolbert. Tell me how that works. So when you look at it, I think Brandon Cooks can carry the weight as long as they 5 weeks in where they're starting to connect, right? So as long as let's say CeeDee Lamb holds out all year, I doubt it, but let's just say he does for the sake of the topic. Brandon Cooks Jalen Brooks, Ryan Flaherty, their draft pick. That yes, the guy could be a diamond in the rough. Still early, but I see a lot of Michael Gallup. He went on the radio show, said, "I'm Des Bryant, whatever." No, you're Michael Gallup, a 4.43 Michael Gallup. That's who you are. And so I like what he's going to be able to do, the physicality, the get up, get the ball. He's Michael Gallup to me. So then I got Turpin, right? Turpin got mixed in the offense a little bit. So if you notice, Jalen Tolbert is still getting pushed back. There's a lot of guys that the Cowboys kept this year from last year that outshined Tolbert, right?
Yeah.
And so his time is coming to an end this year. Oh, and he changed his jersey number to number 1. Kelvin Joseph did. He left. J-Ron Curse did. He's gone. Jalen Tolbert, you just changed your number to number 1. You're the number 1 player to get booted.
Well, that was awesome. Hey, but I was seeing some reports too that Turpin was getting a lot of targets in OTAs, and I always wondered why Mike McCarthy didn't have him as the 3. Just even if you don't even throw it to him. I just never. I was like, dude, I think the kid.
Yeah, I get it.
I think the kid gives you a threat on the field. Okay, even the worst play in the NFL is a quick screen, but I would throw it to him. Okay, just because of his jitterbugging and in open field and everything like that. I wouldn't throw it to CeeDee. I wouldn't throw it to any of the Jalens, but I would throw it to Turpin. And then also, hey, remember the time they had Turpin in the backfield and he came out the backfield with a pass play and the swing routes because you got to line him up against a linebacker. Schemes. Mike McCarthy, maybe that's why you're not in the top 10. Scheme your speed. I mean, if you think about it, scheme your speed. Well, hell. And go ahead, Rue. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say you and Chris is really nailing it. You really discounting what this man has done. Like you act like he didn't light it up during preseason and OTAs last year. He did. We saw Jalen Tolbert all over the place last year in terms of when he was when it was a big reason why we thought he was gonna have a better year too. He was getting involved, and the fact is he didn't have a ton of touches or opportunities to begin with, but the small opportunities that he did get. He did perform in those opportunities. You're acting like he was like Feoko and just dropping passes and shit. He really wasn't. He really wasn't. Like you're really discounting this man. And not to mention, he comes out of a place like Southern Alabama where he basically was their offense. I remember when he got drafted. The reason I liked him so much is because a lot of times these small town wide receivers coming out of these small town schools do end up panning out. And not only that, his quarterback threw for like 4,200 yards or some shit that senior year. He had like 2,500 of them. So he was their offense. And obviously college and now totally different scenarios here, but you're really discounting the small accomplishments that he was able to make, especially after such an abysmal rookie year. Because it was abysmal. It was a terrible rookie year.
It was pretty bad.
So here's my thing with Tolbert. Tolbert couldn't strap the boot to Michael Gallup as a 3rd-round pick. We're comparing apples to apples, school aside. Colorado State University is a small school too, ain't it?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
Michael Gallup came in, rookie year had 500 yards. Tolbert in his career, 280. When you talk about the value and the investment of a 3rd-round pick, if it ain't there yet, when is it? When are we going to keep holding on to?
I agree with you that it has to be now. It has to be now. Like this is the year that he has to crack like 700, maybe even 1,000. But it's got to be at least the 550, 700 kind of range. Like especially if he's the 3, and he really should be playing for that 2 spot. Like that's what it really needs to be for him, because he's not CeeDee. He's not a 1. He's just not. But the 2, he definitely. He could be. He could be. And if it doesn't happen this year, then it's not going to happen. So I agree with you on that. I'm just not going to discount the small things that he did to improve. It wasn't a lot. You don't have to keep looking at the stat sheet to remind me that it's like 200 yards. I'm not saying it was a lot. I literally came into the whole thing like the best thing I can say is you had your moments last year, because that really was the best thing I can say. But those moments aren't nothing, and a lot of them came in key situations and key downs.
But where was the momentum in those situations of key moments and key downs, right? Where was the traction, right, Rue? If you do good at your job for a couple of plays, right, for a couple of hours, they're going to say, okay, you were good for 2 hours, but what happened to the other 6, right? I need momentum. I need you available 8 hours a day.
But he's not getting the touches. He's not even on like the lineup. Like he's fourth last year.
But why?
But
why? Because
you
he's
still had Gallup.
Well, last
Gallup
year, you still had Gallup and Cook ahead of him.
You just signed
Gallup
Cook.
was a shell of himself last year. That was his moment to take over Gallup, and he didn't do it. They were still playing Gimpy Gallup over Tolbert.
Gimpy Gallup.
When you're right, you're right. God damn it! Like there ain't no arguing that point. But I might be a little biased in terms of what I think of the kid, just because I was really hoping for big things as he came out of college. But ultimately, I had like a little shred of hope, and you're tearing it out of my fucking heart right now, you asshole.
Hey, one thing I know about Cowboy Corner, once he's done with you, he's done. And he's done all the way. It ain't no forgiving, no nothing. It's just like
the best damn GM on the planet. This does not.
Hey, once you're done in his mind, it's over. It's a wrap. Well, let's go to the other side of the ball. Okay. I'm excited, man. I saw a video today. They were talking to Eric Kendricks about his leadership and how he thinks he's going to go about being a leader for the Cowboys. And Eric basically said, man, he has to be more verbal. And he also said he's really excited about the rookies and the second-year players at linebacker that the Cowboys have. And I think this is exactly what we needed. Of course, I didn't get the linebacker I wanted. Everybody know I wanted Patrick Queen. I wanted him bad, but the Cowboys decided no, he was too expensive. And well, I don't know what the hell the Cowboys decided. They still baffle me, even though Mike has drilled this in my head. He said, Chris, you know they don't do anything in free agency. Why do you keep wishing? And we've had this conversation. I say, but I can only hope. You know, when you put out your Christmas list, you're hoping that your parents at least get one of the damn gifts. So one of the gifts I was wanting was Patrick Queen, but we didn't get him. But we got Eric Kendrick, and he has played for Zimmer before. So Rue, this is my question to you, man. Are you excited about, or do you think Eric would be a good leader in that linebacker room, or you think that people are going to follow Parsons? I personally don't think Parsons is a linebacker because he plays fucking defensive end because he's rushing every down. But hey, we'll see. How do you feel about Eric Kendricks in that linebacker room?
I feel like he's going to bring the tempo of Zimmer. I think he's going to know fully what to expect. I think he's going to know exactly what's to be expected of him, and I really think that he should be able to lead Maurizio Leofau to become that guy in the middle for them. I think that Micah is going to be a hybrid this year. I don't think they're just going to be sticking him on the line. I don't think Zimmer's the kind of guy that's not going to play all of his guys to their absolute strength and put them where they need to be. And for where we're at in this linebacker room, especially for some of the youth that we have in this linebacker room, Eric Kendricks is a pro. He's a good player, and the fact is, this is a system play. This is a guy who's played for Zimmer. He's a Zimmer guy, and he's going to pair him up with a guy who's a lot like him in Leofau. So it's definitely a good match in terms of what you're looking at. Putting him in at that middle linebacker spot, making him the head of the snake for that defense. And I don't think that Micah's really ever been that vocal leader anyway. I mean, LVE always called the plays. You know, I forget, and now I'm like blanking out on who had the dot last year, but it's never been Micah manning the ship in a sense. Micah's just getting in where he fits in and wreaking havoc.
Well, I was going back to what he said on his podcast after the season, talking about he need to be more of a leader and more vocal. And I don't see it either. But I guess I could be wrong. I would hope he would be a leader, but I don't think he's going to be. Hell, he's not. He didn't show up for OTAs. I think the leaders do.
I'll tell you how he's not a leader. He wasn't there for OTAs when it began. I don't care if he's going to be there a week later. I don't care. You're going to be there to be there. If you're going to be the big dog, you got to be in the pen. You just can't be the big dog whenever you decide you want to be the big dog, Micah. And I said this a few years ago. I think I said it Micah's second year. Micah Parsons is the most selfish player I've ever seen wear a star on his helmet. He really is. He really is the most selfish player. Now, he could want to grow up. He's about to get the bag. Maybe things will change. Like we see, it took Zeke Elliott, it took him a long time to grow up. I'm low-key faded, bro, right? It took him a long time to grow up. So maybe it's just going to take Micah Parsons just a little bit longer to grow up. Who knows?
Rue, what you think?
I really the only thing that I really can think is that all he means by that is in the locker room. He's not trying to be. I don't think he's trying to call plays for this defense and be that actual captain in the middle. I think he's just talking about being an example and feeding the media its bullshit is really what I think. I don't see him as the guy that's going to be, calling plays for this defense and doing this, that, and the third. He's just not that guy to me. I think he's going to be more concerned with getting the pass rush and getting the bag. And when it comes to him being selfish, I hate to say it just because I really want Micah to work out and I love how he plays, but the tendencies of what he's been saying and the things that have come out and the actions shown, it's different than what I would expect from the guy who's the face of this franchise, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, speaking of people who didn't show up, we knew CeeDee wasn't going to show up, but Zach Martin wasn't there.
That was planned. That was pre-planned.
That was pre-planned. Tank wasn't there. Tank wasn't there, and there was somebody else that wasn't there that kind of caught my attention. Who was that? I forget. I had it, but I forgot. But yeah, Tank didn't show up either.
Wow. I'm honestly glad. My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, but dude, just to me, the way the season ended last year, I just wanted everybody to be, on one accord and let's get this shit rectified and let's get it done, because we're all frustrated about how the season ended last year. And to me, the leaders of our team, our highest paid people need to be there. And Micah, to me, he talked so much shit. Not there, and it just bothers me, man. It really does. You can't talk all that crap and don't be there. That's my problem with him. That's my problem. And it's maturity, it's a little thing. And then I know I've heard Jay Tuck say this. He said, man, we really can't fault people from having podcasts because it's their right to do so. That's true. It is true. But it's a bad look when you talk all that crap and your performance on the field don't back up what you says.
Bingo.
That's the problem I have. I don't give a damn how many podcasts you have, but if you're not backing up what you say, that's a problem for me.
I'd be fair.
So that's just me. So, hey, man, it is what it is, man. Hey, but like I say, this is the first. Don't we got one more OTA before training camp? Or was this the last one?
No, you have the mini camp coming up.
The mini camp. Okay. We got the mini camp, and then we got that whole month off. Okay.
July. Yeah.
And then we have and don't June 1st cuts come this week?
The money comes. The money.
Yeah. So it'll be some more folks that's going to be in the free agent market, real soon too. That
Michael Gallup's money's coming. That's the only June cut that we're getting. This is Michael Gallup's money.
Okay. All right. So this is a topic that I'm really interested in. Dude, I'm a big Sam Williams guy. I like Sam. I think Sam, when he's on the field, he does good things. He's at one point last year, he was our best special teams player at one point. And then I got to thinking, why the hell is my a second round pick is more of a special teams person than being on the damn field? Now, Mike, I know you have an opinion about this. Okay. I like Sam. I like the way Sam plays. Okay. Do you think Sam Williams will make a difference this year on the field, not as special team, but actually at linebacker or defensive end this year?
He has an opportunity to. All right, here I am talking like Bernie Sanders. He has the opportunity to, right? And donate to my campaign. I'm going to lose. It doesn't matter. I think he has an opportunity to.
Okay.
But, I don't know if I said this on this podcast or not, but Sam Williams, you can't trust him. He's a Randy.
Okay, let's stop there. Why do you say we can't trust him? We couldn't trust Randy Gregory because of drugs. Why you say we can't trust Sam Williams?
Sam Williams has already been pulled over twice with weed, guns, and speeding. And Jerry said that he's learning. He's learning. He took one of the elements away. He didn't have the drugs on him, but he had the gun and he was still speeding. So we're making progress.
It's Texas. Right? Everybody got a gun in Texas.
Yeah, everybody got guns in Texas.
You get caught as many times as he does.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. You can smoke weed. You can do all this. You can do that. 90% of the NFL players smoke weed before weed was not frowned upon. Only the dumb ones got 98%, caught.
98%.
98. Only the dumb ones got caught.
Right.
That's my nerve. Sam Williams is one of the dumb ones that keep getting caught. If I knew that you were on my payroll and I knew that you kept speeding, you kept having this thing, you got the distraction, you got this going on, why would I trust you to give you opportunities when I know you could not accept the hype that's around you? Because wearing a star on your helmet, big players, big teams, big names, that's the Dallas Cowboys, right? Yes. And there's a certain element that you have to accept at this level that you're on. Dak does a really great job at it. Micah Parsons used to. Now he's struggling. Zach Martin does a great job at it, right? So when you look at that as a whole, Sam Williams, I don't know if he can handle that spotlight. So will he make a big difference? He has every opportunity to. Every opportunity to. And here's another reason why they don't trust him. They drafted Marshawn Nealon in the second round. If you trusted Sam Williams, you would not have drafted Nealon in the second round. Period.
Okay. Rue, do you think Sam Williams will make a difference on the field this season?
The Marshawn Nealon point is kind of interesting, for sure. But I think that might have something to do with the age of Tank Lawrence as well. And the fact that you lost your starting DN to Dan Quinn and the Commanders also. It's not like we didn't lose depth at the position. So the move didn't make, it wasn't totally out of the realm of, what they needed to do on that D line. When it comes to Sam Williams, man, I really like Sam Williams. I think, I know he had the trouble, but I think having the kid and everything else has kind of slowed him down. And hopefully he just stays on that straight and narrow from here on out. I'm not gonna fault somebody for making one mistake. Lord knows I've made a ton of them myself.
What do you mean? Three strikes you out. It's 3 strikes you out. He only got 2 strikes, man.
What are you talking about? He got caught with the weed and the gun. What was the other thing?
The speeding.
Oh, come on, man. I'm not going to be mad at somebody over a damn speeding.
He didn't learn the first time. But go ahead.
Hey, man, he had a fast car.
Come on, man. As long as he wasn't drunk. Was he drunk, though? Speeding and drunk, that's different. If he just speeding, like
I think he was influenced of marijuana, but I think he paid somebody to get that out of the media. I think. I don't know. Don't get me for slander. I don't know. Allegedly.
Even if he was,
we're not going to slander him then. Well,
Allegedly.
This is all I know about Sam Williams. Sam Williams, when he gets on the field, he makes an impact. Sam Williams, when he gets on the field, you notice him. You notice when he's there, which is kind of weird that we didn't see him. And I really think it was because Dan Quinn had his guys that he had on that D line that he trusted. And, you know, he used Sam in spurts, but he wasn't going to use Sam over his guys. And as you can see, his guys followed him right up to DC with his ass.
True.
So it's not out of the realm of possibility for that to be the case. Aside from that, I think that Sam Williams, I'm not going to fault these guys after just 2-3 seasons, especially when you've shown real signs of life. And Sam has shown us real signs of life.
Yeah.
I feel like with Sam, he just needs the opportunities. And I feel like he's going to get them this year under Zimmer. I hope that he gets them this year under center because, to be honest, he should be the guy, right? Like he should be. He should be in that spot, like right next to Tank, and it should be them kind of rotating out. It should be Sam getting involved quite a bit. So I'm really hoping that it's going to be Sam.
Second round pick. You got to be on the field. You got to be on the field.
He's got to be on the field. He's got to get his opportunities, and I really feel like this will be the season that he does get those opportunities.
Man, I really hope so, Rue, because I'm with you. I like Sam. I'm not faulting him for his speed and weed and everything like that, because we already know, man, the NFL is like our Barron says, it need to be legalized across America. I mean, but it is what it is, man. Rules are rules, but I hope, you know, we talk about Micah being mature. I hope Sam gets his maturity too. And you brought up something that I forgot, Rue, that he just had his kid. And hey, sometimes people can go two ways. You can grow up and hey, I'm a father now, I got responsibilities and these bills keep coming. And I got an opportunity to make a lot of money. And this is his year to prove it.
You gotta believe
you
that.
Gotta prove
he's fighting for that contract.
This is the season where Sam Williams can make a lot of money. Either on the Cowboys or not with the Cowboys, but you got to be on the field to do it, bro. And you got to be mature. And I'm with you though, Mike. Hey, you got to stay out of trouble because you know the Cowboys. You always got that spotlight on you, regardless what you do.
Who's the commissioner? He's looking to spend a Cowboy.
Yeah. So you know, hey, if you're a Cowboy, man, hell, if you're the fourth string Cowboy. If you get in trouble, it's national news. So, you know, but that's it. But hey, we keep switching balls, side of the ball. Let's go back to the offensive side, man. Okay. OTAs was happening, and I know this is exciting for Mike and everything, you know, because he is a fanboy of Trey Lance. You know, I don't know why, but he is. They said that Trey had a good OTA. He was throwing the ball well, and I say, how can you tell in t-shirts and a helmet? That somebody hit you across your face real quick. But you know, I'm gonna let you tell me how. I'm just giving you a monologue real quick about your third string quarterback. So they said he threw the ball well. He's adapted to the offense, and he's looking better, okay, as a quarterback in the NFL in shorts and t-shirt. So, so I want some opinions about, will Trey be your second string quarterback this year, or will he remain your third string inactive quarterback behind the Red Baron? So, I know Mike is itching. I'm going to let Mike go first on this because he's the fanboy of Trey Lance. Go ahead. Tell me about Trey Lance.
Absolutely, dude. So we all know it didn't work out with the 49ers, right? Cowboys traded a fourth-round pick. Remember that? Fourth-round pick to get Trey Lance into this locker room. Jerry didn't call anybody. Jerry didn't discuss with anybody. Jerry said yes, right? Immediately to a former first-round pick. That's place quarterback. And so when you bring Trey Lance in and you look at the development of Trey Lance as the first-round pick, who was injured a lot, the footwork was nasty. The arm mechanics was not there. The foot mechanics was not there, right? So when you look at that and you go through the offseason, you let them run, what do you call it? What do you call it?
What are you talking about? West Coast? What are you talking about?
No. When you in practice, what do they call that? Anyway, you run that the special teams practice or whatever you call it. God,
7-on-7? 7-on-7?
Scout team 707.
Scout team. When you run the scout team and you get to see those progressions, right? Then you take your worker to the offseason. Trey Lance was working with some quarterback guru stuff, you know what I'm saying, getting his footwork route, putting out some workout hype videos on Twitter, which I don't buy into. Not that type of guy, right? Then when you hear the reports of his peers, Dak Prescott saying the dude made a day and night difference, all right? I hear that, right? Stephen Jones saying he has the intangibles of what a first-round pick should have. I hear that, right? Then you hear the head coach saying, oh, wow, it's night and day. Mechanics are just completely different. You hear progression, right? And I've been saying since January that Trey Lance holds the extension to Dak Prescott. People laughed at me in January saying, how does a third-round pick hold the keys to a franchise quarterback's contract? Because the preseason, what they're talking about now, this preseason, every opportunity Trey Lance is going to get is going to dictate if Dak Prescott gets that extension. Because if Trey Lance balls out in the preseason, yes, he will get the number 2 spot. Yeah, and Dak Prescott is gone. Oh, but he didn't pick up the 5th-year option. You can literally sign Trey Lance right now for a 2-year, $22 million instead of paying him a 5th-year option for 1 year of $22 million. So this is like the Leighton Vander Esch 5th-year option. Cowboys got Leighton Vander Esch for $6 million cheaper, not picking up the 5th-year option. They did picking up the 5th-year option. This is common practice from the Cowboys. Okay, this ain't nothing new. So you can get Trey Lance cheaper and longer if he balls out in the preseason. And the benefit of it, you can extend Trey Lance whenever you want. Now, August, December, September, January, it doesn't matter. You can extend him whenever you want. So for the future and for the sake of the Dallas Cowboys, I want young blood at the quarterback position. So yes, I need Trey Lance to win the number 2 spot. That's what I need.
Okay, Rue.
I think the writing's on the wall. They've been gushing this kid up all off season. All I've heard about is how great Trey Lance looks. And, oh, man, he's keeping me busy. And, oh, man, he looks like a whole new guy. This, that, and the other. Gee whiz. Trey Lance is the best fucking thing I've ever seen hit a football field. I'd swear that you're seeing this shit like every day coming out of camp. And this could go one of two ways, honestly, for me. This could go the route of, maybe they're selling it up. Maybe they're trying to set up a trade. Maybe that it's not like there's still it's not like there's still not teams out there that need a quarterback. Maybe he lights it up and they move on from him. Maybe they use him as leverage. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think the writing's on the wall that we don't need 3 quarterbacks and Cooper Rush will be gone. And that Trey Lance will be the 2. And the fact of the matter is, man, this man was a 3rd overall pick. The San Francisco 49ers leveraged a lot of future first-round picks just to acquire this man, only to history relevant to be their quarterback. And it's kind of crazy that it ended up the way it did. I remember all the hype coming out of this kid from North Dakota State. I remember the hype. I remember the COVID year. I remember everything that kind of stood in his way in terms of letting him get what he needed to be prepared for the NFL. To me, he should have played another year. He needed some more time. But, he had the hype, and the fact is he was right, because that 3rd overall pick pays you a good fucking chunk of change as your rookie contract. So I can't discredit him for doing what he did, but ultimately he's on this roster. And I think that, Trey Lance has some very unique intangibles, man. Trey Lance does have some features that you would see in a quarterback that you'd be like, hey, that's kind of fucking nice. And I wouldn't mind seeing that on a consistent basis. And the fact is, he's never really gotten an opportunity. Even in San Francisco, he didn't really get an opportunity. They kind of, he got hurt and, shit happened the way it did. And he never really got rooted into that offense, never really fell into the system, never saw consistent opportunities. And the fact is, when in those games that he did string together for a short time in San Francisco, he was fucking winning. So, we might be discounting the fact that Trey Lance has honestly gone through a whole hell of a lot in his career. And the fact is, it probably started earlier than it should have. But, don't be surprised if this fickle ass fucking fan base, they were chirping for Cooper Rush. Imagine what would happen if he does light it up in preseason and he does look like the next coming of fucking Joe Montana. Like, who knows what it could be for this franchise and for him as a quarterback in his future. But I really think it could go either way. I could definitely see them building up for a trade and sticking with what they've known in Cooper Rush and staying with Dak Prescott and doing that whole thing. I wouldn't put it past this team for 1 second. But I could also see them making a push, and it wouldn't be far-fetched for me that if he does do something and turn this fan base, shit could get real fast.
Well, for the both of you, I enjoyed both of y'all's conversation about Trey Lance, the positive, the negative, and this is my take on it. The one thing the big fella can't get past, this is the one thing I can't get past. The number 3 overall pick in the NFL and one of the winningest teams in the last 5 years, the San Francisco 49ers, and their genius head coach on offense gave up on him. If he gives up on him, the 3rd overall pick for Mr. Irrelevant, why do people think he's going to be better somewhere else? You already said, the NFL already said Mike McCarthy is not a better head coach than Shanahan. So is he a better a quarterback coach than Shanahan? Well, you can't say that because they turned Mr. Irrelevant into a Super Bowl participant. So did he have nothing to do with it? My whole thing is, yes, he didn't get a chance to play because he got hurt. They got rid of Garoppolo for him. He started. They won a few games. He got hurt. He come back. He couldn't win his job back from Mr. Irrelevant. Mr. Irrelevant. So how is he going to be relevant here? That's my issue. Oh, Mike want to rebut.
Just real quick before you go. Because all I know is that if there is a team that's hard pressed against the cap, it's the San Francisco 49ers.
But he was already on the contract. He was already on the contract.
But still, I don't know. You're right. Go ahead, Mike.
Go ahead, Mike. I know you're itching. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Put yourself in a general manager role, big fella. Rue, you do the same. Put yourself in a general manager role.
Okay, I am in that role. He wouldn't have been on my team for that 5th round pick. No.
So you gave up all these picks to go get Trey Lance. Okay.
Yes.
You still drafted Trey Lance. What did you do in the 7th round? The last pick of the draft. You got Brock, or what's his name? Is it Brock Purdy?
Brock Purdy. Yeah. Yes.
You got Brock Purdy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your 1st round pick gets hurt. Okay. Brock Purdy takes you to a NFC championship game.
Yes.
Why would you allow? It's almost like with Dak and Romo, right? Dak had a winning streak. Romo had the opportunity to come back. They said no. They rolled with Dak, right? Same thing with Brock Purdy.
The difference is it was an age and a health issue when it came to Romo and Dak.
But
okay, these are two young players for the Niners.
But Romo had more skins on the wall at the time than Dak. Well, 2 playoff wins versus a rookie, right?
Yes.
Anybody would go with the 2 playoff win veteran, right?
I would have. Yeah, I said it. I thought they should have.
I would have too.
I would have.
I wanted Tony in that game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
did
wanted
too.
Tony in that game.
And so-
I thought
so when you-
Tony gave us the best chance to win.
But Dak was the hot hand, so you had to. I was a Dak guy in 2016. I had to go see Zeke and Dak in 2016 against Tampa Bay Buccaneers when Zeke jumped in the kennel. I was there. Had to watch him, right? So you look at the hot hand, right? So then you look at Brock Purdy and you look at Trey Lance. Who was the hot hand? It was Brock Purdy.
Yes.
So
But that don't mean you have to get rid of him. Does that mean you got to get rid of him?
Yes, it does, because you
Okay.
can't have your first round pick sit behind a 7th round pick. No general manager will do that.
And
You
don't need two
invested so
starters.
much into Trey Lance, you will not let him sit behind making more money than Brock Purdy. You just wouldn't do it, right? So what did they bring in? They brought in Sam Darnold. So when they brought in Sam Darnold, you already knew Trey Lance was gone. That was the writing on the wall. Trey Lance was gone. You look at Trey Lance's preseason. Oh, he never beat out Sam Darnold. They're naive. They're Dak riders, right? Because if you look at Trey Lance's stats in the preseason, he had a good showing. The moment they signed Sam Darnold in free agency was the moment Trey Lance was gone. That was in March. They traded him in August. No general manager. So here comes the point of putting your general manager back on. No general manager would have let Trey Lance sit behind a 7th round pick who already went to an NFC championship game.
All right. Well, first of all, I need to correct you. We're not Dak riders. We're Dakers. Okay. Thank you. we're Dackers, not Dak riders. All right. That the riders sound kind of, anyway. Well, look, man, we got one more subject before we get out of here. Okay. That I was thinking, because the show still hadn't came up to their conclusion of which show tripper we're going to take. But which game are you more excited to watch this year? Let me see if I could bring this up on the screen. Let's see if it'll show. All right. Okay. So this is the schedule. We got the Browns first. The Saints, Ravens, Giants, Steelers, Lions, Niners again, Falcons, Eagles, Texans, Commanders, Giants again, Bengals, and the Panthers. And I think the last game of the season is the Eagles, I believe so.
Commanders, I think.
Commanders. Hold on. Sorry. Yeah,
about to say,
it's
I think it's
Tampa Bay. I'm sorry. Tampa Bay, Eagles, and then the last game is the Commanders. Which game are y'all more excited? Just one. I know it's a lot because the Cowboys this year got a hell of a schedule, and I think every week is going to be exciting except when they play the Giants and the Panthers. Other than that, I think every week could be monster games. So, Mike, which game are you the most excited to see this year?
August 27th. Give me them sorry 49ers.
August.
Give me those nasty, stinky 49ers. I want to put it
In
to them.
Santa Clara. I'll be there.
On their throat, smash their throat in, cut their heads off, and hang it in the Super Bowl chase in the Super Bowl case trophy setup deal over there in the Star.
Okay, so you want to see those Niners. Rue, who is your team that you're most excited to see the Cowboys play this year?
From a business standpoint, it was the 49ers just because I really want to see them play better against this team after getting absolutely demolished by them last year.
Mm-hmm.
But the game that I'm really probably most looking forward to, man, I love it when we play the Texans. When we play the Texans, it's a Texas thing. It's a rivalry. And you have to understand, in Austin, this is not a Dallas city. This is a Houston city.
Really?
So I'm surrounded by these motherfuckers, Astros and fucking and Houston Texans fans and Rockets and shit. They're fucking everywhere. They're like a disease. It's terrible. And I don't hate Houston.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking hate Houston. Like it's it's just one of those situations where, and really, it's the matchup for me because Houston has a squad, and not to mention they've been talking hot shit ever since they went 9-8 last year and won a playoff game. They've been talking mad shit. And I love the young team that they have. I mean, Tank Dill, Nico Collins, CJ Stroud. They have our guy in Dalton Schultz, and they just picked up Stephon Diggs. They got a squad. They got a damn squad over there, and I would just love nothing more than to just beat the shit out of them this year. Even with all that extra cake and frost, or with all that extra frosting that you got. I would love, and not to mention, you got Diggs on Diggs, baby. Stephon versus brother.
It's gonna be good.
That's just fun to watch.
We didn't get it last year, Buffalo game, because our Diggs was hurt. So we'll get it this year.
It's gonna be it's a nice little it's really just a friendly rivalry at the end of the day. The game doesn't, it's out of division, it's out of conference, but when we play this team, pride is on the line. It's the Battle of Texas, and they've been claiming Texas all year, talking about they're the number one team in Texas. Well, we're gonna fucking find out here pretty soon.
I guess we will, won't we? Well, mine, I had a toss up, man. It's between that one of these North teams, the Ravens or the Steelers. Okay, and I think I narrowed it down. To me, it's the Ravens. And the reason it's the Ravens, I think, is because it's the quarterback matchup for me. It's a quarterback matchup. I want to see how Dak performs against that Ravens defense. And I want to see how our defense perform against Lamar. Because he's going to be, it's his early season, Lamar, so he's going to be on fire. He'll be healthy and everything. He won't be banged up. And I think it's a good test for the Cowboys, man, playing those Ravens. And I believe it's going to be that game of the week. It's a Sunday game. So we'll be playing them here at home. I know because when we played them in Baltimore a couple of years ago, we got shellacked. So hopefully we can get these Ravens this year. And like as y'all know, I always got family members as fans of other teams, and my nephew is a big Ravens fan. So hopefully I could stick it to him. So hey, well, we come to the end of the show, man. We got some final thoughts, and Mike, man, we'll let you go first, man. Final thoughts on today's show. Anything you got to promote or anything, man, you go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Big fella, Rue. Appreciate you guys having me up on the Cowboy Up podcast. All right, big shout out. Clip this to TikTok. Subscribe to these guys if you haven't already. I'm just kidding. You don't got to click that to TikTok. But anyway, no, man, appreciate you guys. It's always good to talk football. It's always good to, interact with Cowboy fans. That's what this is about, man. This is the world of social media. It could be toxic or it could be great. And when you're doing stuff like this, it's great. And, just a team can just bring people together. Austin, Colorado, Kansas, El Paso, Arizona, right? Just so many fans and so America's team. And, the social media, shows that constantly of what the Dallas Cowboys are all about. Philly is still trash. New York is still trash. Commanders, you picked up our trash. Cowboys always on top.
All right, Rue, you got any final thoughts, baby?
Man, Corner, it's always good to have you on, man. I appreciate you hopping on with us. It's always a pleasure. But Chris, final thought. Can it get here any fucking quicker, man? Can we just speed it up just a little bit? Let's just skip the summer and just go right into fall, and we'll be good.
We got something to cheer for right now, so let's just roll with this for right now.
That's true. I guess that's true.
Them and the stars, yeah.
we are doing pretty nice right now. It would be nice if this franchise joined the finals one day in in the next 30 years or whatever.
It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
It would be nice, but how insane is it that you have the Mavericks a game away from the finals and the Stars a game away, or no, 2 games away from the finals. And it's absolutely insane, man. It's great. It's a great time to be a Dallas fan in general right now, But what's true about most Cowboy fans, which is super sad, half you motherfuckers are Lakers fans. So it is what it is. Anyway, man, just to top it off, bro, I'm ready to get on this game. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm halfway here. I'm halfway there. I keep going back and forth, but ultimately, I can't wait for this season to start, and I really can't wait for a lot of these questions that I have to be answered, because there's a ton of questions, and I feel like that's the going theme that we've had for the last few weeks is how are these questions going to be answered when the time comes, and that time is coming very soon, and I can't wait for it to get here.
All right. Well, one shameless plug, man. If y'all hadn't seen the conversation with Chris, with me and Cowboy Corner, please go watch that, man. You'll learn a lot of things about Mike, man. And I did, and it was pretty awesome, man. So if y'all hadn't seen that, y'all go to my YouTube page and watch conversation with Chris, with me and Cowboy Corner. Always a pleasure, Mike, for you to jump on with us, man. We love your intake. You always keep us on our toes, man, especially me. Y'all ought to see the conversation. Y'all ought to hear some of the conversations me and Mike be having sometime over the phone. People wouldn't tell we were both Cowboy fans, but we be going at it. But that's what I love about him, that and about being a Cowboy fan. We don't always gotta agree, okay? But one thing we love that star, and we love cheering for the Dallas Cowboys, man. I do always appreciate Mike for that. But my final thoughts, man, is this. Cowboys. It is time again. We are less than 100 days away from training camp, season starting. And this year, for me, Jerry Jones say we all in, but that's bullshit, because he didn't do nothing to be all in this all season. But the Cowboy fans, we always been all in, and we can't wait. I can't wait. I got the itch, man. I tried to watch the United Football League, and then I get mad. I'm like, nope, this ain't it. This ain't what I need. I need the best of the best out there, okay? And I'm an Arlington Renegade fan. They shit the bed this year. But anyway, I digress. But I appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you came from Cowboys Corner YouTube account, we appreciate you. Subscribe to us, man. We're here every Tuesday at 8 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Mountain Time. Shout out to Armando. He had to work late. Also, shout out to Mikey 520. He had to work late. But we'll all be back together next week, and we'll have something fierce for you again. As I always say, Dallas Cowboys for life. We'll see y'all next week.
This is what we're doing now. We're just gonna make stuff up. It's gonna be off the cuff. It's gonna be wild. And this is crazy because y'all are Cowboys fans, from what I understand. And what's even wilder is y'all gave it like the hard pause. Like y'all gave it like the, oh man, he about to say something profound. Like he's gonna drop the mic. He's gonna give us the knowledge of the Cowboys' first round draft selection history.
Send this to a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Is it true? Is it true? Is it true that the Cowboys have the best fans? Yes, sir.
I trip out on that. Because I'm swimming in it. I wear this jersey every first game. It's my favorite jersey.
Came from El Paso.
Go Cowboys!